Welcome to my world, folks. Good to see everyone. Carolina Keith, regular Keith, Professor Keith. I hate Keith. Thought about going back to Professor Keith just because I thought it was fun to be named that, even though I'm not really a professor. I'm just a dude. Nonetheless, good to see each and every one of you back on Thursday night, 11 p.m. Y'all know what that means. It's Crypto After Dark. Let's not waste any more time and get off into it, please. If you have not done so, please go hit like. It costs nothing to hit like here. While you're there, hit the notification bell and subscribe so you don't miss anything we do anytime we do it. I don't want you guys to miss out on streams. A lot of people say, well, I didn't see it come up my feed. You need to go hit the notification bell so that you don't miss it next time, okay? That way, every time I give out a video or we do a live stream or a podcast or anything, it'll ping you and you'll see it. I got the chat pulled up on the screen here. We'll run it as we gain messages here. But first, we fixing to talk about some charts, and for that we need the charts alone on the screen. I started this just a touch early, and I left the stream running, which I'm going to start doing every live stream. I'll have the stream running probably 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes before the stream actually starts, so you'll just see this screen. Okay, you'll just see that until the stream starts. I'll probably add some slow listening jazz to it or something. I even thought about adding a "will start shortly," little spinning pinwheel, right? So you know, but it'll be that screen that you see nonetheless. So I shared this chart over to X, Twitter, whatever you'd like to call it. I rarely share charts anymore, aside from pretty much 3 assets. It's the only 3 things that I put on Twitter are Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP for the most part. So we just happened to see AVAX doing pretty interesting things over the Discord, which is down below. WAP.com/team786 is down yonder at the bottom. Real easy to use. It connects up to your Discord, links you up. First month's free. There's a couple spots available. Don't complain if you don't get in. All right. We talk about this stuff 24/7, 365 over in the Discord. We never stop talking about it. Literally all night long, people are charting. And then all day long, people are charting. It's wild. It never stops. So there's never anything to not look at. That's the whole purpose. So anyway, I've got the chart all mapped out here for you. A couple things I want you to note. Number one, we had a really, really awesome run from October till middle of April, obviously. And things slowed way down, obviously. And I know it feels bad that things retraced from what was this 66 all the way down to 16. That's what I warned you, folks. It wasn't alt season yet. And alt season really doesn't come until later in the year. Here we are on the second half of the year, later in the year. And sure enough, things are starting to turn the other direction. All right. Told you this was going to happen. The good news is this isn't even the big move yet. All right. This is just the precursor. I want to highlight a couple things. I've got a Fibonacci retracement set pulled up right here. Okay. And I'll show you. I'll take it away and then put it back. I've highlighted the trend line on the Fibonacci set. If you don't know where that's at, you click on the Fibonacci set, hit settings, and trend line is right here. You can make it anything you like. You can do the solid line, the dash line. The dotted line is what I typically have, but I switched it to a regular line so you could see what I want to illustrate here. This is a classic bullish chart pattern. All right. Aside from being a potential cup and handle, which is the cup, the handle, and the breakout, which it looks like it's doing. I think that's pretty obvious. There's also this really cool fallen wedge over here on this side. You're going to see this on a lot of charts, not just AVAX. And this AVAX is the example that I'm using, but there are far more that look a lot like this that you can take advantage of. All right. What I like about this is that it broke trend all the way back in December and really stayed above it until the entire time. It's yet to fail this green trend line right here, okay? It hasn't given up, and it looks like it doesn't want to give up. We got a few good touches here on the trend line. That's what I like to see. I like to see touches on trend lines. Back tests is the technical term for that, okay? You had breakouts and back tests. It's cool that we haven't failed it yet. It's hanging on. Now, in the process, it's created this wedge that's pointing downward. You can clearly see that this is pointing downward, yeah? Good news. This is a bullish chart pattern. I got an illustration right here for you. Make it a little bit bigger. There you go. Essentially, you've got consolidation pointing down, just waiting for this thing to break out, pointing down, just waiting on a breakout. Obviously, we haven't had that breakout yet, but this is a weekly chart. Look at the price action, this thing trying to fight back and take over that 382 fib at 25 bucks that it lost several weeks ago. All right, once it lost that kind of sucked, not gonna lie. I didn't want to see that. I wanted to see it hang on to it. It didn't care what I want, and it failed. Good news is it's fighting back here very aggressively. Let's drop down to the daily, and you'll see that we've had multiple green days in a row right here. I posted a picture on X of the MACD, which I don't even have on the screen right now. Let me put it up there. MACD stands for Moving Average Convergence Divergence. I'll throw that on the screen right there. We saw several days ago that we had a lot of divergence right here on the MACD. Between the two lines on the MACD, it was very far apart, and it looked as though we were going to get a crossover here. Sure enough, we've gotten that crossover. And not only did we get the crossover, we got a really nice run afterwards. It shows us that we can get confluence from other indicators, not necessarily using any one indicator, but we can get confluence from many. That confluence helps build an opinion that's based on facts, not an opinion based on delusion. All right? That's the difference between objective, when it's based on facts, and subjective, when it's based loosely on garbage. You'll see a lot of this on social media, especially with XRP, where everything's just based on random garbage that they find on the internet, and that means boom, the price is going to go up. And I think you know the rest. It's still sitting at about 60 cents again. It's crazy that we may have told you that was going to happen already, and it's happening. Perhaps you should be paying more attention. Perhaps you should share this link around to everyone so everyone can come see what we're saying here, all right? We do this for y'all. I don't do this for me. Honestly, we do this in the Discord multiple times a week, and I prefer that over this. It's just that I know people still want to learn, and I still have hope of helping as many people as I can. Occasionally that hope gets diminished by just utter stupidity and anger at me for saying the things that you don't want to hear, but I've come to learn that there's nothing I can do about that. So anyway, good news on the home front. I don't even have the 821 EMA on here because it is long past it. Now it's breaking the 50-day moving average, which is excellent. Now I want to warn you, obviously we got this wedge line here, plus we have the 100-day moving average there. That's two roadblocks in the way to progress. All right, it's gonna slow down a little bit here. This is very, very rapid up. And when this happens, we tend to have a retrace to come on the back side of that to neutralize it a little bit. This is what we call an imbalance, meaning too much in one direction, just like we had an imbalance on the way down. We're correcting back now. This is another imbalance that we may correct back a little bit on. We may end up coming back to the 50-day moving average, which is where that yellow line is kind of stalled out right there. See that? Kind of stalled out right there. That means it could come back there. It just happens to be where that big fib line is also. A little bit of confluence for that area for it to stall out. If we take a look at the RSI real quick, note that it's not quite oversold yet. It's just trending in that direction, but it could keep going a little bit here. And that may be what it uses to push upward toward that 100-day moving average, use up the rest of the momentum it has. Also note that the 200 daily moving average, which it's still a good long bit away from, I want to say that's about 30%, 35% to the 200 moving average. All by itself up there, just floating around trying to figure out what to do. If it breaks this 100, that is my next target. The 200 daily moving average, which is also where the price of the 50 fib is at about 35 bucks ish. All right. That's if we can break this wedge and this 100 daily moving average. That's my next point of contention. That's where I think it'll slow down and stop. If it doesn't slow down and stop here, this will slow down at some point. All right. It's not quote unquote go time yet. I think we got a little bit of time yet before that happens. Also note the weekly 50 moving average is kind of stuck right there in the way too, which is around $30.50. So while it's bullish and feels good and looks good, let's take mindful thought here that it may slow down. And if you want to get some profits, there's never a bad day. All right. I posted all this and wanted to show you all this because I've been talking about it for a while. Right now, since we posted that on X, it is at 31% up since that post. 31% up. That was also on a live stream when we talked about it. And I kind of pointed out on the live stream. I'm like, check this out, man. It's doing its thing here. I'm here for it. Let's rock and roll. I'm going to sneeze. Goodness. I might have one more in there. Let's go say hey to everyone real quick after we've talked about that. Distinctive Shine, what's up, my friend? You were first. We encourage everyone here. Listen to me. We encourage everyone here to comment and communicate and interact with each other, okay? It's not the Keith show, all right? It's the 786 Assassins, right? We want you to come in here and talk and enjoy what we have. Please don't be afraid to speak up. Ask questions. You'd be amazed how much you can learn when you're willing to open up and ask some questions. We won't make fun of you unless you ask something stupid like, when is XRP going to be the world's greatest digital asset again? And when are we going to have the next world reserve currency? I'm going to make fun of you for that one. Good to see you, Distinctive Shine. Raging Beagle, what's up, brother? Said he couldn't watch. He'll watch later. That's cool. I get it. Everybody's got jobs. Crypto Profits, what's up? Golden Tall Man, how are you? Horse Trader, I stayed up late for this one. 4 a.m. in Ireland. What's up, my guy? Good to see you. Cody Kensel, Big Fish, Jeremy D, what's up? Carmine Glitch, Crew Chief, Colo, Jill Sandwich. Good to see you. Blue Scarf Prince, what it do? Charts Can't Lie sent me. Thanks for having me. Bro, good to have you here. That's awesome. Appreciate that. Charts Can't Lie, XR Fee me. That's his former name. Good to see you, brother. Is Velo going down to 1 cent or a little below? I'm a little thinking it's not. I think it's probably going to hover here. Brian W., good to see you. Soda, what's up? Loose Jr., what's up, Kevin? Frumpo, what's up? I knew he was the real deal when you said he was a UNC fan and you still followed him. Oh, don't start that Go Pack Go crap, because we're just going to make fun of Moo You if you do that. Terry Brennan, what's up? Soda said, I love that you showed the down pattern and how it's a bullish flag. Well, thank you, brother. I'm glad you watched. Anat Mishira, good to see you. Peter Navarro, what's up? I just took out a HELOC on my primary and went balls deep on Doge. I mean, I don't think that's the end of the world. I think that's not a terrible idea. Doge is probably going to do good. I'm not saying it's going to have the same gains it did before. Obviously, he's just kidding. But still, nonetheless, I think Doge is going to do pretty good. I really do. Ryan Colburn said, I'm still awake. What's up? Tyler Anderson, how you doing, brother? So, that's my thought process on AVAX. I gave my high points, my low points. I don't think we're going any lower than we already did. I think we likely hit the bottom on almost every single alt, not all of them, but on almost every thoughtful alt that you know of, altcoin that you know of. Not a degen thing, but altcoins. I think most of them already bottomed out. And you're seeing that on the higher time frames. What I'll show you real quick is some dominance charts here. So this is others.d. What is this? So people have asked me about this. So this is everything minus the top 10's cash. All right. So that's how I want you to think of it. Everything minus the top 10's cash and the percent of cash that it represents when you take out the top 10. All right. So top 10% dominance equates for about 91% of all the money in crypto, just the top 10. About 91% of all the money in crypto. All the rest of the money in crypto, that 9.8, 9.9%, right now it's 9.79, basically 9.8. All the rest of that goes to all the other altcoins. That shows you how insignificant what you think maybe a big thing actually is, right? So this is others.d and it represents everything except the top 10. Now, another big fallen wedge, just like I showed you. I can't post the image. It's fine. But it's on the AVAX chart. Same fallen wedge as what you saw on AVAX. Good news is, if I throw the moving averages up here, you see that not only is it fighting the 50, but it's trying to break it, and it's trying to break out of that falling wedge. Muy bueno. That's not bad at all. Now, obviously, it could fail from here, and you see the big falling wedge. If I zoom out, all the moving averages are up here. So it looks to me that it's only a matter of time before this breaks and heads to these moving averages, whether it's now or whether it's a couple weeks. Nonetheless, I think all of them have likely found their bottoms already. You had a lot of spinner candles. What is a spinner candle? A spinner is when you have a very large body candle in front Then you have an indecision candle at the bottom, which is not sure whether I'm going up, not sure whether I'm going down, basically a doji. And then the very next candle starts a reversal. And that was last week. And now that it's started, it's really picking up momentum this week, right? That's basic chart pattern for reversals. And I'm going to show you some other ones here. It's a very similar trait. This is total market cap 3, everything minus Bitcoin and Ethereum. That's 99.998% of cryptos. All right. Everything minus Bitcoin and Ethereum. As you see, similar chart pattern. You had your big down. You had your spinner candle at the bottom, which happened to have very long wick on it. Very good. That shows buy pressure. And then you've started your reversal back up. Furthermore, this is a bit of a double bottom right here. See that? Kind of a double bottom right there. This is total market cap 3, by the way, not Bitcoin, not Ethereum. There you see it. That's very good. That double bottom could signify a fall of sell pressure and a rise on buy pressure. Very good. Buy pressure is what we want. If I pull fibs from this and line them out, they go to about March and stop, which is what I thought may happen. What I mean by stopping is that's where the lines run out, just based on the little trend I just pulled. That's tax time next year, which is what I kind of expect. I kind of expect things to sprint till tax time. And I think they may stall out right up here at Sniper's Alley. If they don't stall out at Sniper's Alley, then I think we could challenge previous all-time high. And that's by the end of March next year, right? That's not the end of the run. That's just the end of the first push. We get one more after that. Likely it retraces from March to June, something like that, March to the end of May. They always say May go away, selling May go away, right? We're going to get some sort of that. It may not be exact time, but I think maybe May, maybe June, maybe July is when our comeback starts. We'll be able to chart that closer when we get to it, okay? But that gives us our second push. Let's say we're up here. That'll give us our second push up into our money zone up here, which is where I think Total 3 and a lot of others will go. All right. Just showing you the example now, but this makes sense. All right. It just mathematically and chart wise makes sense. A lot of times people ask, well, how do you know this is going to happen? I don't understand. How do you know this is going to happen? Well, I'm telling you how we know, right? We use the chart to find the right spot. Once we have the right spot, we analyze it, see what we could maybe change or maybe do different. And at that point, we're able to come up with a better decision, yay or nay. All right? It's not that complicated. I'll give you a better analogy here in a couple minutes. Tyler had cheese head for life. Oh, my God. Listen, Jordan Love is going to get reality checked this year. I thought I was the only Pack fan here. You are. I got Panther stuff hanging up in the back. I can talk crap. I promise. My team sucks, and I know it. I'm not delusional. Could look at Garden. We don't do chart requests on here anymore. We stopped doing chart requests because people was just using it as Keith will tell me what to do and I don't have to do anything else. I really don't like that. I say all this stuff on YouTube because I want you to learn this for yourself. Come and watch, hang out, see how to analyze a chart. And after you watch it for a little while, you start to pick up on things and you can do this for yourself. I don't want you to trust me. I don't want you to even listen to me, but I do want you to see the charts and learn them for yourself. All right. I'm not a financial advisor. It's not financial advice. You shouldn't listen to any idiots on the internet ever. If you want to learn something, that's cool. That's good. You can learn a lot from the internet, but don't ever just do what the guy on the internet says. That's an overall terrible idea. Bitcoin dominance. This is my kind of hot topic right now. Still hanging out at the 618 fib, still rejecting the 618 fib. See that? 618 fib right there? Clean touch, like perfect touch. And now it's rolling back. You can't ask for better proof of TA than right here, okay? I can't show you a better golden pocket touch. By the way, the golden pocket is all three of these fibs right here. 618, 68, 71. It's called the golden pocket because often reversals happen in this area. We've bumped into this area and have not gone any farther. I think it's possible that we could push into it more. Yes. It looks to me like dominance is trying to fall off here. And if that's the case, that doesn't mean Bitcoin is dying. It just means some of the money is going into altcoins. And Bitcoin playing tiddlywinks, just thinking about it up here where it was before, while altcoins get some of the money and take some of the lore. All right, it's actually a good thing because this helps prop the whole market up and not all of the money going into Bitcoin. We don't ever want to see all the money go into one spot. I know there's people on here who love to hear about XRP and think that's what you want. Brother, that's not what you want. I think you think that because someone on the internet's told you you're going to be rich. Have you even thought about how you're going to get the money out of that? How you're going to sell it? How you're going to actually get the money off the exchange? Any of that stuff? Have you ever thought logistically how that even work if it went as high as you think it does? I don't think you have, right? That's called delusions of grandeur. I'm not delusional. I live in reality over here, and I realize that's unlikely. So I'm watching this very closely. I'm curious, are we going to just fail down here to the 50 like we've seen other ones do? Are we going to fail to the trend line right here and then have another leg up and then shut me up? Or are we going to fall under this trend line and kind of copy what this line I drew right here is doing? I drew this just as a bit of a guide. I've shown this plenty of times. I was a little off, obviously. I thought it would do it a little later, and it still may do that. It still may kind of sweep over here and tag this and then fall off. I'm not sure exactly, right? I can't be perfect. I can just get close. So I got to watch and see what happens. If it's going to stay right here in this little triangle of action, wants to stay right there and think about what it's doing and figure it out. Okay, cool. I have to wait for that to happen and see. I need a break one way or the other. This looked like a break. It's a bit false, and it's falling right back under the trend. And I bet you it closes the week out inside this little triangle. So we're kind of leaning and waiting and watching. If you want to see some terrible looking dominance charts, how about Ethereum? Whew. Well, you want to know the stinker of the month? That's Ethereum over here. Good Lord. I keep waiting for a breakout to happen, and Ethereum keeps on telling me it doesn't care what I want. Dominance is just fleeing here. It was up to, let's see, February of this year, we had dominance up at about 19%. We're down at 15% right now. So if you add up Bitcoin dominance and Ethereum dominance, that makes up about 56, 66, 71, 72% of the market by itself. Those two coins, 72%. It's made a new short-term low and already swept the low. There is another low down here that it could attack. You can see the line right there where the price is. It could attack that low again, but gosh, that's a long way down. I mean, I guess it's possible. And I would think more around 14.8 to 15 flat. It's at 15.06 right now. Getting brutalized, just getting brutalized, which brings me to the Ethereum chart on its own. About to pull up Bitstamp here. All right, here's the weekly chart. I've got the Gann grid already mapped out. You don't have to look at this Gann grid if you don't want, but for me, it helps me see things in kind of like an archaeological standpoint. If you've ever watched a archaeological site, they grid the thing off above so they can see where every little piece came from, so they can map it out on a map, and maybe there's more pieces, right? We're doing the same thing, only with charts, with assets that we want to trade. It's no different. Math is still math. A grid is still a grid. This grid is based on mathematical probabilities. That's why it's a Gann grid. He was a mathematician, but it's based on Fibonacci retracement. Was also a mathematician. I like mathematicians. Ethereum is stuck under the weekly 50 moving average. I don't like that. It needs to rapidly improve. Problem. Every time it tries to rapidly improve, it just does nothing. Look at these Bollinger Bands and how tight they have squeezed in here. Those are tight Bollinger Bands. They're going to get tighter until we have some sort of break, north or south. These bands are going to get tighter and tighter, and they're boiling. Almost every other crypto has made a move for that 50 moving average, and Ethereum hasn't. It's quite impressive to see it not make a move. It should, though. All right. I know it's taken a while and it sucks, but it shouldn't be too long before it breaks north and does what everything else is doing. I think maybe once I think maybe once Bitcoin slows down a little bit, Ethereum will get some of that bite back. And that may be the little bit of a trigger for altcoins to move up a little bit with it. But I don't think we're in for anything dramatic until next month or October. And I say that because next month's going to be wild. Keith, what I've noticed is the time from peak to peak, each cycle drops. Second bull market, 18 months. Third, 11 months. Actually, no. The bull market was almost identical each time down to within 2 weeks. And I'll show you what I mean here. We can do that by looking at Bitcoin's all-time index. Here you go. Oh, not going to say it because if I say it, I have to drink, and I haven't drank in a while. Okay. So to show you what I'm talking about, Carmine glitch. The anomaly here will be 2012. This one was shorter. All the rest of them are going to be within a couple weeks. All right. So this is the reason I say this is we know how long these are because we already know when the next halving is. If things were vastly different, we wouldn't know when the next halving is. But we already know it's May of 2028. Since we already know, we can chart everything else out mathematically. Bitcoin is a mathematical machine. It never changes. And because of that, we have a free map to see what's going to happen. All right. From the top, 2013, to the bottom, roughly a year. Right? It's actually $3.99, roughly a year. Okay. I marked this as bottom just because it's dead in between the top and halving. You see that? I'll measure it again for you so you can see here. From the top to halving is 945 days. This bottom line is in between the two. I cut it in half, basically. All right. Well, anyway, it was from the top to the bottom was roughly a year. All right. From there, you can go all the way to the end of the bull run, roughly 1,400 days. And then also you can measure from halving to the end of the bull run, roughly 532. So 1,400, 532. Here's halving to the top, 545, 550. About 2 weeks difference, and that's about it. And again, from bottom to halving, I'm sorry, I need to go all the way to the top. From the top to the next top, 1,421 or 1,440 was the first one. 2 weeks difference. All right. By the way, bear market from the top to the bottom, 371 days, almost exactly a year. On to the next, top to the bottom, this last cycle, top to the bottom, 371 days, almost exactly a year. Crazy, huh? I'm going to sneeze again. Goodness. I'm going to have multiple sneezes. All right. We see that year. It's almost identical. From the bottom, not the bottom, from halving to the end of the bull run, we can see. Goodness, man. All the sneezing is wild. From halving to the end of the bull run, 600 days instead of 575 or 550. It's about 2 weeks longer than the last two. Roughly 2 weeks wiggle room. And again, from the top to the top, 1,480 days. This is what I mean when I say we have the data. We know what's going to happen. We just have to plot it out. We just have to plot it out. I've got the lines drawn here in order. I even sectioned it off into eighths, an eighth, an eighth, an eighth, an eighth, right? So we can see the lines and we can try to hone in to the moves that's going to happen before they happen. And I'll show you some more in a moment. I meant from peak from halving, my bad. Isn't that halfway to the top though for the third cycle? I see for sure. So you see what I'm saying now. Okay. It's really close is what I mean. It's really close. And I mathematically speaking, I even have the lines colored, red top, red top, red top, green halving, green halving, green halving. You see how mathematically perfect it is. And it's not just Bitcoin. It's all of them. I say all of them. That's not true. Most of them. Bitcoin, XRP is damn near perfectly timed out, which we've proved, by the way. We charted it on here Ethereum is very close. Binance Coin is very close. Let me show you some other examples of what I mean. This is Bitcoin 2016. And on the right, Bitcoin now. Look at how darn close these are. All right. We had our top. We broke the weekly 50. We did a big roll down. We tapped the bottom of the 50, then we broke out. Same thing over here. Big bear market, tapped the bottom of the 50, broke out. We then rode that weekly all the way up to halving. We rode the weekly all the way up to halving. Very nice. I marked roughly all-time high over here. I marked roughly all-time high over here. Look at how darn similar it is to 2016. Halving line. Halving line. We are right there with what 2016 did, which means we're right there with what 2020 did. And hey, look, there you go again. Now, this one was a little bit wonkier. We had this big move down here, which we all know what that was. All right. Now, if I just took that out, it's very similar again. And I can almost be willing to bet you, had we not dealt with this right here, we would have just continued this trend up here, and this would have consolidated to the side at this red box, just like this one is doing, only it didn't happen that way. Since we can't say that, I don't worry about it. I just more so look at the basics that I see right here. This is so darn similar, it's a little spooky to me. Furthermore, let me know if you're following me over here, chat. Jump in the chat and say, I see, I understand, I got you, whatever it is. Because I don't want to lose people in this. Bitcoin is a mathematical machine. It cannot be changed. And since it cannot be changed, we cannot fight what it's doing. I got to hammer that home to people. Here is a map of the last 4 halvings. I know it's messy. Bear with me, all right? I'm going to remove these fib lines and then put them back up when I'm done. 2012, parabola, halving. Ran up, hit the 1618, had a blow off top, failed the parabola way up high. 2016, parabola, halving, rode the parabola up, hit 1.618, had a blow off top, failed. 2020, parabola, hit halving, rode the trend line up, double top this time because we had that big sell off. One could argue that this right here kind of threw off the timing a little bit, but it eventually caught back up and ended up being roughly 2 weeks from exactly the same. All right. And now 2024, we're riding the parabola up. There's our halving. We're dancing around, touching the trend line, just like we did back in 2016, just like we did back in 2012, just like we did back in 2020. This is literally a spitting image similar to the last 3 halvings. Now I'll put these back up, and you'll see that I have these little white arrows pointing at 1618 breakouts. That's why I put a lock emoji on this one, because it's almost a lock that we get to at least 100 to 175,000. And I'll go out there and say, I think 175K likely happens. And I think it likely happens by summer next year. Maybe not. Maybe it takes a little longer, but I think that's what happens. All right. Baby steps. I'd like to see it hit 85 to 100 by the end of this year. All right. Hopefully you understood that. Everybody got me? Everybody following? Terry Brennan says, great info. Thank you. Justin Cleveland. Good to see you, Justin Cleveland. He says, makes sense for sure. Sweet. Once we have established that we have a baseline, this is an interesting stopping point here. Once you have a baseline and you know, okay, my scientific experiments with sugar water, I'm going to use sugar water all the time. Now that we know our baseline, Bitcoin timeline never changes. It's very static, as you see. I mean, static to a couple weeks worth of degree. Since you know that your baseline is solid, you can use this baseline to help you see what's coming. This is why I haven't been freaking out while all this crap's been happening. It's been sitting over here chilling, waiting, because I know good and well it's not over. We're going to have the same moves we had before. We'll see how high we go. That's debatable. I'm fully with you on that one. That's debatable. More so what I want you to know is now that we have data, let's use it to the best of our ability and not blow it. All right. We can't change what we can't change. We know this is math. So let's use the math to our favor. We don't need to add in our feelings because it's only going to make it worse. And if we think we have data, share it around, ask, and believe it or not, a lot of times we'll be able to filter it out and figure out what's right or wrong if we do it as a team. Excellent data. My concern is the third cycle. Every peak for the cycle, the RSI is overbought, but the RSI on the daily for the third cycle is overbought on the halfway versus the top is near. Yeah. So we talked about this a little bit too, and that is concerning. I'll say that. That's concerning. Here's 2016 on the left. All right. And I'm going to pull up the MACDs here. And pull up this MACD. These are the MACDs of 2016 on the left and now on the right. After you see halving basically come in, we swept down, eventually crossed up around October and started our move up. That big divergence that we had between the two lines closed and off it went. Look what we got right here. Look at that divergence. I just mentioned this on AVAX, right? Look at what Bitcoin's doing right here. Big divergence on this weekly MACD. I can just about bet you this ain't going to keep up. It's going to turn around. And when it does turn around and flips back bullish, this is yet another indicator to say, hey, man, things are flipping around the other way here. RSI. Look at how many times this thing went overbought in 2016. I'm not expecting that, but let's also look at 2020. Right? So 2020 had this monster sell-off. Halving is, let's see if I can hit it. Right about there. So last time we had the big fall off pre-halving. This time we really didn't have that because we were super overbought. Tricky is we went double overbought this time and only went, well, we kind of went double overbought back here too. Thing is, you see this, it fell off and never really came back. It looks like it was trying to again, and you know what happened, all right? Kind of what this did, yeah? Kind of the same thing in my opinion. Pre-halving, it was making another run up. Pre-halving, making another run up. Just never quite got to do it in 2020. And because of that, we offset everything down here that would have been up here. Make sense? A much overall higher RSI, not looking at the daily, looking at the weekly. And the reason I'm doing that is because the high time frame tends to run the show, and we tend to get lost in the low time frame moves sometimes. And I know I spend a lot of time on daily on here, on the daily chart. Thing is, those high time frames trump the daily almost every single time. Because of that, I have to give more weight to the high time frame and not the low time frames. So I want to be careful with about worrying about one indicator. I've been burned that way plenty of times before. Like I'll go, oh no, the RSI's oversold, I must sell it. And then all the under indicators are saying maybe it goes down for a day or two, but then right back up, right? I've got burned that way before. That's why we do the confluence situation, right? If you've got 9 out of 10 check marks, should you really be running away? Maybe not. If you've got 2 out of 10 check marks, now that's a little bit different, right? So this is why I say build confluence over many things if you're unsure. By the way, that same confluence that I'm talking about is already in our Discord. We have an assassin screener that filters out all the assets by the confluence system. Does it have a good RSI? Does it have a good 821 EMA? Does it have a good 50 moving average? How's the Ichimoku cloud look? How's the RSI look? It's all in our Discord, wap.com/team786. Your chance to join is here. 1 month free. It won't be that way much longer, okay? Simple as that. Get in while you can, because when I shut these doors, it's over. I've already shut them. Thing is, we had a couple people quit and leave, so there's a couple spots open, and I said I would do that. If there was a couple spots open, I'll give you a chance. Also, got something cool coming for my birthday. My birthday is in 5 days. Doing something cool on YouTube, doing something cool on X. Be ready. All right. Yeah, the RSI's got to be going back and forth too. Don't get me wrong. I'm agreeing with you. I'm not disagreeing. Assassin Screener, Justin Cleveland. It's in our Discord. It updates every day at 8 p.m. Eastern, which is when the market closes, and resets and then tells you what looks the best or the worst. There's even a little video in there to watch so you can see how it works. It's in the pins. It's in the pinned messages. Next on the agenda, I've talked about this a good bit. Boy, Arbitrum has been a hardcore letdown, right? It's been a hardcore letdown. then I got to digging around in the data and looking for anything that I could find that looked similar. I was comparing this to a few different things. I ended up finding FTM here. FTM is on the left when it first came out. Arbitrum is on the right since it's come out. All right. The charts are, as you see, very similar. They're not exact, but they're very similar. They're layer ones, which means coins can be built on them, and they're basically just a knockoff of Ethereum. They can have other coins built on their ecosystem, which makes them the gas token. You use them as a gas token, it makes it transactional, which creates transaction fees, which creates sell pressure and buy pressure, which creates volume, blah, 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 blah. Right? It's good for a layer one. There are many, many tokens on the Arbitrum network. As you can see, this thing's been punished. But the good news is this same rough period here was when FTM started breaking out, eventually cracked through the trend line and made a run. I've marked 3 arrows here, blue, yellow, white, blue, yellow, white. So you can see the similarities in the chart. You can see the RSI, how similar they were. And you can see the RSI slowly starting to sweep up here. In fact, once it breaks this yellow line down here, that's probably the go point. And what is it doing right now? You see that? No, I didn't mean to draw that. God, I said it, my fault. What do you see right here? That to me looks like it's trying to break that yellow line. And if that's the case, we could be getting this reaction soon. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be the same, where it's just a snap up like that, but I do think we're going to get some more positive price action on here. Arbitrum has been terrible. It's been terrible. And because of that, I don't think that terrible can last too much longer. Usually when that kind of stuff happens, the market corrects itself, figures out what happened, and makes do. Right? I think it's only a matter of time before Arbitrum makes do as well. I've been watching this one very closely. I DCA'd the hell out of this one. I'm gonna sell a good portion when I get my chart moving upward here, and I'll get most of my money back, be able to re-diversify into whatever I would like, and then we'll figure it out from there. But I have a ton of money on Arbitrum. I did not expect that to happen, but that's what it takes when things go the wrong way on you. You got to have a plan. Luckily, my plan worked out. I'm okay. I'm sitting in a good spot. I just have to let it filter. Let's do Bitcoin on the daily because I haven't talked about that. All right. I got a lot of waypoints marked on the chart, as y'all see. I like to keep the waypoints up there. What's up, Cheese? Good to see you, brother. Thank you, Terry. How much is it again? I use a member, but when the payment switched over, I messed up. It's 16, but the first month is free. So call it 8 for the first month. It's free for the first month. And again, you can cancel at any time. It's all good. If you want to do the yearly, you can do the yearly. It saves you 2 months instead of 1 month. You can also do crypto if you want. That's in the Discord also. You can pay with crypto. WAP.com has a crypto payment thing to it now, I believe, and that automatically will work for you. Up to you. So it's up to you. If you'd like to pay in a different type of crypto, you can. You just got to message me and let me know what you want to pay with. But it's only a couple bucks a month, and it'll only ever be a couple bucks a month. We're not going to have some $40, $50, $60, $70 Discord. That's stupid. You don't need to pay that much for someone to help you make money. That's insane. We don't ever want it to be too much here because it seems super greedy to charge a bunch of money for people just to see you post charts. That's insane. So let's make it cheap, right? It's going to stay cheap that way forever. I'll never charge more than $16. That's insane. $16 was a lot for me. We had it at $8 for a really, really long time. Then we noticed the more people came in, the more chaos that started. Once we made it 16, that leveled out a lot of the chaos, which basically kept the adults in the room and the kids had to go, right? So that doesn't say everybody's a kid, but we had a lot of that. Luckily, we got past it, and now that we got past it, it's much better. We need to talk about real estate too, Cheese. I'm glad you said real estate. That's not what you meant, but I'm going to use that. All right, so here we are on Bitcoin Daily. I know you see the consolidation. With consolidation means Bollinger Bands are tightening up, right? And they sure are. Look at there. These Bollinger Bands are on the squeeze, bruh. Now, the really cool part, moving averages. Problem, we're still stuck under the 50 and under both the 200 and the 100, but I want you to look closely. What's that 50 moving average doing? She's hooking up in the upward direction. How about that? This is highly likely that this breaks this 50 moving average and sprints for this 200, 100 tits cross. This is a tits cross, folks, when the price comes toward moving averages that are about to cross. Okay, that's Technical Institute for Trading Systems. Thank you, Frank, Darth, and China Matt. That's a tits cross. So once that happens, price will react to it and likely move towards this. Moving towards that puts us on a better weekly trajectory. That weekly trajectory leads us out to the middle of September. What happens in the middle of September? Former President Trump's sentencing. And on the same day, Federal Open Market Committee releases the Fed's rate. It's highly likely that they cut 25 basis points. It's likely that they cut 50 basis points. It's unlikely that they cut 75. So 25 to 50 is likely to happen. If that happens, that means dollars will be printed. If dollars are being printed, guess what people do with those dollars? They spend them. What will you spend them on? Well, you can guess just about everything, but most definitely some of that money is going to come in crypto, especially with all the politicians yapping about how great crypto is to get us to vote for them. I don't fall for that. But nonetheless, that's your narrative. That's all the narrative you need, really. I mean, that's all the narrative you need. So let's watch closely, keep our eye on it, and be ready. I didn't mention the 821 EMA here, but I want you to look what it's doing. She's got the pinch going on. 821 EMA is pressing upward into the 50-day moving average. Very nice. This pressure will cause pipes to bust. I think it breaks north. All right. Then we're going to get an 821 cross, which is our secondary signal. First is 2 candles closed over the 8. Here's candle 1. Here's candle 2. Both those candles closed over the 21 EMA. Very good. And the 8 EMA for that matter. Very good. The next thing we needed was the 821 cross, which hasn't happened yet. It's close. When that happens, that's our more go signal. Full confirmation would be over the 50-day moving average. Elite level confirmation, bull run activated, is over the 200 moving average. And obviously we're still under that, but we're working towards it. Little baby steps. There's Bitcoin for you. How about ETH BTC? Because Cheese brought it up. I really think it's going to go to 30 minutes on these, man, because trying to fill an hour with a few assets is tough. It's tough. Let's see. Chart real estate. I want to see back in time. Yeah. We'll get to it in a second. So ETH, Bitcoin. We showed ETH dominance earlier. Here's ETH versus Bitcoin. This thing did an awful fall, but I want you to note that it failed to a mathematical level. 1.414 on the fibs. These are reversal fibs, or take profit fibs. You short this and you short down to the take profit fibs. Okay. That's when you stop shorting and look for a long. Now we haven't quite got that long yet, but she's thinking about it. I flip to the daily. Let me take these fibs off. We'll look straight up at it here. This green box right here is kind of resistance now. As long as it's there, we're kind of stuck. But it could be nice to run up to it. Daily, we haven't got an 821 cross yet. We have not got 2 over the 8 and the 21 yet. But it does look like we've made a low and a short-term high and a short-time higher low. Very good. Next up would be a higher high, and that would likely attack that 50 moving average right there in yellow, which is slowly working its way down, which means we may be on the precipice of an Ethereum move versus Bitcoin. I'd love to see that. In fact, I'd love to see Bitcoin do it first, and then I can sell some of the Bitcoin and put it in Ethereum, and then Ethereum do its thing, and then I can sell some of the Ethereum and buy something else. That's what I'd like to do. I'd like to alley-oop that hoe 3 times. I'm not sure I'll get that chance, but I'm watching close. Note that is a bit of a parabolic fall right here. You cannot deny that. That's a pretty easy to see parabola. That needs to break. It hasn't broken, needs to break. A couple other charts of interest: the graph, Gala, SUI, Say, other Velo, VET, Dot, Algorand, Link, Aptos, Optimism, ICP, all on the brink of a good move. Let's see if they've got the juice to get it doing. They haven't had the juice yet. Now, Fetch is ripping very good. I was hoping it would have a comeback because it fell way off. You know what I mean? I was hoping it would have a comeback. So, I've talked about this before, but we can chart real estate. All right. I'm going to show you this. I haven't charted real estate on here in a long time, and this is select real estate. All right. I know what you're going to say. Well, that's not all the real estate. You're right. It's not all the real estate, but it's select real estate. And it's like using the nice cars at the car lot to judge what other cars will end up costing. Okay. So here we are. XLRE, select real estate. Gann grid already drawn on it. What is a Gann grid? That's Fibonacci lines in one direction and other direction, which is right and up here. We have a clean, clear breakout, no matter whether I'm in linear or log. It's a clean, clear breakout of any trends that were up there. It looks to me like this thing is on an absolute rip, absolute money run of an uptrend. I can delete some of this stuff here. We're heading toward the golden pocket, which is 43 to 45. It's almost there, not quite. It looks like it's going to get there to me. Next stop, we have resistance right here, which is at about 44.5, 45. It may stall out a bit here. And I think the next area of importance will be right over here at the beginning of the year in 2025. That's one of our first Fibonacci lines going left to right. All right. We have three here. All three of these are take profit fibs and or reversal fibs. So this first one is at the beginning of the year. Just told you that we're likely going to get rate cuts in September, and they might even do one later in December. We'll see. I doubt that. That's pretty atypical to happen 1 month after an inauguration. So we'll see. But that first line is February. Next line after that, June, summertime. Summertime prices usually go up on houses. So perhaps we see something like this. We see a run up, a tail back down, another sprint, another run up, something of that sort. I don't know. I'm guessing here a little bit. I can't be perfect on this. All right. Just saying something like this. Another little consolidation, another sprint up. Either way, the fibs run out over here at the end of the year in 2025. This looks to me like real estate prices are going to continue to go up. We had a little bit of a lull for a few weeks, but it looks like real estate is going to come screaming back. There's a chance that real estate gets way up here. And yes, I know this is a fund and this is not actual prices of homes, but it's based on that. It's based on the real estate that matters, the most important real estate, select real estate. This fund kind of directly reflects what the real estate market's doing. Sorry, I don't make the rules. Okay. Now, what are you going to do about that? What's really cool is one guy in the Discord was talking about this. He's like, I think I'm going to do a cash equity loan at the top. That way I can get the most cash possible. I'm going to sit on that money to the end of the bear market, which is likely the end of 2026. That's when all this comes back. Again, we showed you that a moment ago where Bitcoin has a 1 year basically off after the top. Top comes in, you have 1 year to wait. After that, you can pretty much buy anywhere near that area, and you've gotten the almost perfect bottom. We've proven that multiple times now, okay? It looks like real estate's going to do a similar thing. If that's the case, we'll have a high. It'll likely wind down to a low over here around 2026, and then we'll see real estate prices come back up again. I would like to try to time this myself. I want to get my garage built over at the farmland so I can start working on my cars again. I really miss going out there working on my cars, man. It was like my stress reliever, and I have no stress reliever right now. It's sitting in here with charts. I try listening to music. I'm going to go ahead and tell y'all, look, bro, my insomnia has been wild lately. Can't sleep. Even when I do sleep, I feel like I didn't sleep. Then when I actually fall into a good sleep, I'm gone for like 16 hours. I hate it. It's stress reduced, and it's not ever going to go away, but it's worse when I'm stressed. That's happening lately. I would like to be able to de-stress again. You know what I mean? Not to mention we have farm equipment that we need to have a place to put. We're kind of sticking it in everyone's garage right now. Bobcat's over at the shed. Four-wheelers are over in brother-in-law's garage. Trailers are tucked away under the trees. My car's sitting on the trailer with a wrap over the top of it so you can't mess with it, right? We got a lot of stuff stowed away that I'd like to be able to put up. I'm working on it. I'll put it that way. I'd like to be able to time this for myself. Also, I plan on, at the end of the bull run, saving money for some rental properties. Talked about that before. I'd like to get some rental properties and or real estate for myself that I can rent out. And if I can rent it out for a fair amount, I can have passive income for quite a while. I'm excited about that. I have bigger plans to not just be in crypto when all this is over. I want to diversify and ensure that I don't lose all this. You know what I mean? Backup plans are always the best thing to have. What else you guys got? Oh, you're over here just talking it up. Do strong. Hi, Golden Tom Man with shots fired, bro. Let's go. Matic did beautiful. Yeah, it did. It was really sucking it up too, dude. Oh, it was frustrating. But lately, Matic has turned the corner and started doing better. Thank you, Soto. Yeah. We did select real estate probably back in 2021 and started doing it then, right? And everyone was telling me that's a bad idea. Go back and look at the prices compared to this, and you'll see how close they are, right? I'm not saying the numbers are the same. I'm saying the chart looks the same, which is all I really care about. What's weirder is fib respect. Yeah, bro. Math. Look, dude, the math always ends up coming back, doesn't it? It's crazy to see, but it almost always winds up coming back. Oh, sorry. Sorry, stream dropped there for a second. I can't stop mathematics from happening. I can't stop this stuff from doing its thing. It's going to keep doing no matter what. So all I can do is kind of take advantage of it. It's crazy, the fib respect. Look, I mean, dude, you mean to tell me houses are watching the market? No, it's the other way around. The market is watching the houses. They see what the prices are and they chart it. And they go, are those going to go up or down? I sent out a, lagging again. I sent out a message in Discord. This is actually pretty funny. We're about done right here. I sent out a message in Discord today, and it was one of my neighbor's house across the street from me who's selling their house. The house we're in right now, we got a really good deal on, but we bought at the bottom, right? So we sold the other house for a really good price, moved that money over into here so we had no capital gains, and got this house for a really good price. Took some bull run money, made it happen. Thing is, this house is worth 75% more now, which is crazy. They marked their house up 85%, which is wild. So we'll see if they sell it. I don't think they will that fast. I think they'll get some offers and they'll probably come down a little bit. I think that's why they did that. But there's a couple houses on my street now for sale. People are trying to take advantage of the market. It's interesting to watch. I just told y'all that we may have a little bit of a lull in prices, but they're going to go back up again. So the prices are probably going to continue to go up. So watch closely, keep an eye on it. And if you're planning on doing something with real estate, I suggest charting it. I don't suggest thinking about it. I suggest pulling out the chart and going, yeah, we buy this. We might get a 10% increase on price, which will give us more equity as well. If we ever need to take the loan out, we have 10% of the equity to be able to get a loan against and use that money. So 300,000, 10%, 30,000. Thank y'all all for watching. I appreciate every single one of y'all being on here. Every time I come on here and do one of these live streams, I feel some kind of way, man. It was fun seeing 200 people come on a stream before. We don't ever get close to that anymore. I'm happy for everyone that does show up, though. Thank y'all for being here. I appreciate it. In the words of the late, great, notorious B.I.G., you could have been anywhere. You chose to be here with me. I appreciate that. Make the best of your days, the worst of your tomorrows. Have a better day than the next day. And last but not least, no one told you today. Keith will tell you. Keith loves you. Y'all be good. I'll see y'all on the next stream. Head over to Zoom, over in the Discord for all the subs. We got another couple hours to go. Y'all be good. Peace.